If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, loud. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes gravity. Choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter, he's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stacked that he knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again, yo. This old rhapsody better go back to this moment and hope it don't pass him.
Listen, we can talk about the flag, but let's talk about... Wait.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on DSM Media. We're semi-live, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know the drill. Like, retweet, share. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. And let's continue to spread the good word of Trending in the AM right here on DSM Media. I am Phil Stiefel, your host. Joined with me this morning, my main man, Marc Moschatelli. His new Twitter handle, @Marc_Wit_A_C. It's Marc with a C. A bunch of underscores in there. Good morning, good evening. We've traded in our coffee for Corona Premier. I'm still waiting on that sponsorship, Corona. You know, I've been asking you for 2 years for that sponsorship. Hasn't that come yet? Patiently waiting. But yes, this is Thursday night, recording for Friday morning. I got a really busy early morning at the pizza shop today. So we are pre-recording this on Thursday night. Never know who might stop on by. I shared the link to the show with the rest of the DSM crew. So all those young puppies that can't wake up for an 8:30 a.m. show, maybe one or two of them pops on in at some point during this recording here. But good morning, good evening, Marc. How are we doing today?
Good morning, good evening to you as well, Phil. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to tonight's show or today's show. Or this morning show, whatever you want to call it.
I get so confused on how to run this morning show when we're pre-recording, how to phrase it. I totally mess it up every single time. But we got lots to talk about today. I don't have a title yet for the show because I'm making the title after we record for the show. But we got lots on the agenda. We still got more Sixers talk and more Phillies talk to go over here on this show. Yesterday, Thursday morning, the show was titled, Is Doc Rivers and Joe Girardi failing this city? And I couldn't remember it till after the show was, as the show was ending. You know, that line is stuck in my head. You failed this city. And I couldn't remember why I titled the show or where I had heard that for, but it was the Arrow, the DC comic superhero vigilante. He used to say, "You failed this city," and he'll shoot you with an arrow. I'm not saying shoot Doc Rivers or Joe Girardi with an arrow, but what I'm saying is, did they? And I went for an hour, Marc, all by myself, just going on and all my different points about why I thought they were failing the city. And then after the show, share it out, put it all over social media, started getting some feedback. A bunch of people told me I was wrong, that these guys aren't. It's not all on these guys. I've had some people tell me it's Dave Dombrowski's fault. Some people say it's Josh Harris's fault. Some people say it's James Harden's fault. The pitcher's fault, whoever. Everybody's giving somebody blame except for the coaches. So we start this show and this conversation, picking up on that conversation again with you to get your thoughts on this, and we'll see where this conversation takes us. Either or both. You could start with Marc. Are these guys failing the city and the fan bases of these teams?
I believe both of them are.
Okay.
You know, Joe Girardi, let me start with him. I liked the hire when it first occurred. But now looking back, it's almost as if John Middleton made that hire as a flashy name for his manager. And honestly, these guys, I shouldn't say these guys, but Girardi, he more and more every game he's showing me that he has a total disinterest in managing the Phillies, and he's just cashing a check. I really feel that way. There's no energy. There is no rah-rah, and maybe you're not supposed to be a rah-rah. There's no lighting a fire under anybody. And, like, where the manager should be coming out is, disputes at the plate, balls and strikes, beating players and stuff like that, and showing some energy. And, like, this guy's like, it's like a hassle for him. It really is, and it's almost as if, like, he's please fire me. He's like begging, please fire me. And I if I was the GM or owner, I would grant his wish, because I don't think he's doing anything to improve the Phillies at all. And whether people like it or not, your managers or coaches are going to be the scapegoats of the players' play on the field, and then it's always that way. Which comes to my next thing. I saw a couple tweets trying to blame Dombrowski for all the troubles. Dude's not been here that long, and listen, he followed
set up for failure to start with.
Yeah, he didn't have anything to work with, and he's basically followed the lead of what the owner dictated to build a squad that can hit the ball and score some runs and compete with the Mets and compete with the Braves. And they got the players that I guess they felt that was best. Honestly, I liked their signings. I liked Kyle Schwarber. I liked Nick Castellanos. Who else am I missing that they signed? Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, Kyle Gibson.
Gibson wasn't a bad signing. He's been very good for them. But, like, I'm not sure. I think your team takes the personality of the coach that runs the team often. And honestly, we had 2 duds in a row. I mean, don't get me started on Kapler. You could say he's doing a real good job with the Giants, maybe so, but he fits that California lifestyle. We need like fiery guys, and guys with like energy. And as corny as it sounds, like Nick Sirianni, he's like a fiery energy type guy. This Joe has you call him Sleepy Joe. You call him Sleepy Joe. There's
no. I'm talking about Joe Girardi when I say Sleepy Joe. The computer bots that think I'm bashing our president when I type Sleepy Joe need to stop. And I knew it was going to happen eventually, but I say
Did it really? Did you type Sleepy Joe and you got censored?
No, I didn't get censored, but I had like bots coming at me saying, "Don't talk about our president like that."
Oh,
like,
Jesus.
Seriously?
Oh, my God. But yeah. I mean, it's a shame. I want to like him. Mm-hmm. But, like, he's not doing anything for me. And listen, I got this Italian-American heritage, and I always go to bat for my fellow Italian-Americans. He's letting Italian-Americans down by the way he's coaching. Like, I can't get behind this guy. And, I don't think Dombrowski is the issue. And I just can't put my finger on why is this team not have any energy or personality or fire.
You just said, you take on the life. You should have known, or not you, but people should have known the second that Schwarber had to blow up. That game was about a week and a half ago when Angel Hernandez was just god-awful on the strike zone and stuff like that for both teams. And then after Kyle Schwarber blows up, Joe Girardi just slowly struts on out. Whatever is it? And then goes back. He lost, in my opinion, this team at that moment. This team doesn't care if he's here. So I continue this conversation on with a question and a comment. So the question is, what harm does it do firing Joe Girardi right now? And it looks like, we're recording this Thursday night. Phillies are up in the 8th inning, 7-1. It looks like they're trending to win Thursday night's game against the Mets. But what harm does it do to fire him? Versus what good does it do to keep him around? He's not doing anything to help us win right now. If you fire Joe Girardi, at worst, you're going to stay the same. At best, you might get better. And that's the question. I look at it like this. You talk about that you weren't against the hiring. I brought up Joe Girardi's managerial credentials here on my side screen here, okay? Obviously, 2009, won the World Series with the Yankees. And let's be honest, that Yankees team he had from '08 till, you page down to the bottom, '08 through 2017. I mean, it was a stacked team.
Mm-hmm.
He won one World Series with that team in that organization. All the money they spent.
Against the Phillies.
Against the Phillies, unfortunately, yes, in '09. But you look at the rest of those seasons that he went from 2013 to 2016 without winning a playoff game. After winning the World Series in 2010, he made it through the wild card round. 11 and 12 didn't make it out of the wild card round. Didn't make the playoffs in 13 or 14. Lost in the play-in game in 15. 16 didn't make the playoffs again. And then in 2017, they made the playoffs and they lost in the championship round or the second round. And then nobody hired Joe Girardi from 2017 till the Phillies did in 2020. Why? Because maybe he didn't really, maybe he really didn't want to be coaching anymore. And he wasn't forced to come out. But John Middleton, it was kind of the splash hire, bring in the name that's got the World Series ring, throw extra money at him to convince him to come out of retirement. So I ask you, if he doesn't want to do it, what harm are we doing by finding? There is no harm. There is no negative in getting rid of him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, let's get rid of him. And he had a cush job where was he at? Over the MLB Network before he came here. And Phil, you said it. Like I think Middleton just threw some money at him that he couldn't say no. He didn't probably really want to do it. And it's funny. Like I am a manager. You own your own business. When you have employees that aren't working up to par, you usually have that come to Jesus meeting and sit them down. And I use this all the time. Listen, man, I like you, but do you want to be here? Because your performance is telling me that you don't want to be here. And if you don't, I can make it happen for you. And the Phillies can make that happen for him. I know this is not Dombrowski's guy. And he also, didn't he have a coach extension that he exercised or something like that, where there's like a 2-year extension? It's not, you could get rid of him, but it's going to cost you some money to do so.
That's true.
And then who do you have to replace him? I heard on the radio today Jim Leland's name. Jim Leland is not coming here. He's not going to come in.
Is he 80 yet? I'm not even being
77 years old.
I was starting to Google search that there.
He's 77. And going back to about throwing money to people and splash hires, Dave Dombrowski, before he came to the Phillies, was part of an ownership group trying to get a team to come to Tennessee. So same deal. Like, he was kind of entrenched in trying to bring a team over. And, Middleton, again, threw some money at him that you couldn't say no. Like, does Dombrowski really want to be here, or does he want to just cash that check? And they say money can't buy you happiness. No. See, the
only thing I say to that, it doesn't relate to them.
It'll buy me happiness if somebody give me a couple dollars. But
money doesn't buy you happiness is only said by people that were never broke. Because it does make life easier, 100%.
Money would solve a lot of my problems right about now, Phil.
Would solve a shit ton of problems. I can cuss right now, but then it'll just get bleeped in the morning, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? But again, so what has happened? I mean, you look at the Philly schedule. Like I said, they're winning tonight. As we're recording here on Thursday night, it's the bottom of the 8th inning. They're up 7-1. Nola's pitched fantastic tonight. 7 innings, only gave up 1 home run to Sterling Marte, a solo shot, 3 hits, a walk, 7 Ks. Girardi actually left him in there for 101 pitches and all. Familia got out of the 8th inning, 1-2-3, no problem. We will discuss in a second that Nick Castellanos hit by pitch. We don't know much about it yet, but was hit by a pitch. What would it take? I mean, it would totally be the total Phillies thing. We get swept in a 2-game set by the Rangers, then we go on and win 3 out of 4 against the Mets or something like that. Of course, that's the way it would be. But the bats woke up tonight. That's really what it was. What's it going to take? Because this morning when I recorded the Thursday show live, I was saying, if they got swept by the Mets, which is not going to happen, there was a chance it could happen this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
1-3 against the Mets. They're going to win tonight. If they lose the next 3, do you fire them Sunday night for going 1-3? Because then you're 8 games out of first place, heading out on a West Coast trip that you've got 3 against Seattle, then 4 against the Dodgers. There is still a conceivable spot in my mind that is saying that at the end of this month, if we keep it the trajectory we're going with Joe Girardi, that we are 12-plus games out of first place by the end of May. And that's pretty much the season. You're not coming back from 12, 13, 14 games out at the end of May. You're just not.
It would be really tough to dig a hole out of something like that and chase. I mean, look at the teams you're going to chase: the Braves, and you're going to chase the Mets. I mean, those both of those teams are stacked more so than the Phillies. And the Braves won the World Series last year. If they do fire them, I mean, do they essentially write off the season? I mean, it's early enough that maybe you could do something.
It is early right now that you could still do something. But you need to light a fire under this team. You can't change the lineup. You had Alec Boehm leading off 2 nights ago, or Schwarber leading off 2 nights ago. Then you move Alec Boehm, and then tonight you put Kyle Schwarber back in the leadoff spot. Boehm has gone from 2, 1, 2 in the last couple of nights. You put Nick Castellanos in Wednesday's game in the 2-hole. What are you doing putting Nick Castellanos in the 2-hole? That just tells me that Joe Girardi isn't coaching this team for the big picture of this season. He's coaching game by game to save his job. And that to me is not coaching scared like that is not a way to coach. So what's it going to take? How bad's it got to get?
I don't think he's coaching for his job because honestly, I don't think he cares. I think he does. Please put me out of my misery and fire me. At the same time, like, we have these players, and I like the players that they have, but they don't have. I keep hearing it. They don't have table setters. They don't have 1 and 2s. All their team is 3 to 9. Like, all their players are and most of them 3 to 6. So all your players there. So you can't really effectively set up a lineup for that. But maybe you just stick Kyle up at leadoff and just bang that he's going to be my leadoff guy, and then Segura, maybe you bat him second. I don't know, and then you go.
I actually do really like the Alec Boehm in the 2-hole spot. Actually, I see at this point early in his career that it's a good spot for him. I am 100% behind Kyle Schwarber's leadoff hitter. I don't care how much he's struggling right now. He's starting to hit the ball a little bit. He did get his average back over 200 tonight before he dropped it back below 200 again. But on Wednesday's game against the Rangers, I was watching a bunch of it before the Sixers game and then halftime and then in between commercials at the end of that game. Kyle Schwarber lit a couple balls. I don't believe in the analytic stats, but there's that hard hit percentage. I guarantee he's got a very high hard hit percentage, which the odds are that some of those, if you believe in analytics, are going to fall in for hits eventually. I believe Kyle Schwarber could be serviceable. He's not a leadoff hitter, but I think he could be serviceable in that leadoff spot for sure.
I agree with you.
Why don't you ran out tonight, or Thursday night? Schwarber, Boehm, Harper, Castellanos, JT, Hoskins, Segura, Odubel. And then they had Camargo in the 9-hole playing shortstop. Now, we do got to see, like I said, Castellanos took a pitch in the hand, and he instantly dropped his back and started walking off to the dugout. Didn't even try to shake it off. He walked to first, took his base, then came right off the field. It looked like it was, hit him smack like where he's holding the bat, like right on the front. Mm-hmm. Kind of basically the Mickey Moniak thing all over again.
Great.
Now, you think Castellanos, now we're in some real trouble. Real trouble.
We are, because he's playing right field because Harper can't throw the ball. And they're still talking about it like he cannot throw the ball. Yep. And if it was something that was a bruise or soreness or something like that, at this point, with him not playing the field in 18 games or 18 days or almost a month, and it's not healed, he's got a problem. And it's probably not going to be healed at all this season. So what do? Do you Do you opt for surgery and he's out for the season? Do you ride him at DH? And that's a big problem too, because you were going to cycle Castellanos and Hoskins and Schwarber, and you were going to do DH by committee. And I think that's the way baseball's played nowadays. You don't have any standard DHs. You can't do that now because Harper is ineffective in the field. And but he's still hitting. Is he 2 for 4 tonight? He's got a homer.
Yeah, he's got 2 for 4, 2 for 5 now tonight. He's got a double, a homer. He's up to 17 RBIs on the season. This guy's average is sitting at 240 right now, so it's not fantastic. But he definitely struggled earlier in the season. Before Wednesday's game, I was watching the pregame show, the Phillies pregame show, and they showed, or maybe it was in the middle of the game, they showed clip from him before the game, like around the afternoon, out in the field. But all he was doing was fielding ground balls at second base, just to keep his legs moving. Mm-hmm. He wasn't even throwing the ball into the bucket, next to him. He was just picking him up with his glove and dumping him in with his glove. His arm is pretty bad. And when it was initially reported, he was 7-10 days. He'll rest it up. He'll be fine. Like you said, we're getting close to 3 weeks now. That's an issue. Now, I'm not putting him on the IL. I'm not opting for surgery. I'm not taking that risk yet of you lose Bryce Harper for the year. You're done. Mm-hmm. Especially now if you're going to lose Nick Castellanos for any extended stretch of the time. You're done. You're screwed at this point. It's going to get really hairy here, in the coming weeks, especially if Joe around. I don't know if you look at the schedule. The rest of this month is an extremely, extremely difficult schedule. You still got this 4-game set against the Mets. We got another 3-game set against the Mets. You got 7 against the Dodgers. So that's 14 games this month against the Mets and the Dodgers, 2 first-place teams. It's not good.
No, it's not.
It could snowball out of control really fast.
You could be out by Memorial Day, and then honestly, if they're at that point, Middleton will be furious because then if your team is that bad, who's going to buy walk-up tickets? Nobody. Who's going to go see that Drek? Right now the park is half full, man. Yeah, you have a very expensive roster right now that nobody's coming out to watch, and this has been a problem for a bit now. At the end of the day, this team does have to make money, and I don't want to get to the point where our fans look like the A's, who can't get 2,000.
It's bad.
It looks like a home run by the Mets just now. In the top of the ninth.
Let me see. That's not good to do. Yeah. I was just about to say, well, this game's about locked up here, but maybe I'm glad I did. I guess I shouldn't be even thinking those thoughts.
7-3 now.
That means that Francisco Lindor hit a 2-run home run. That's what that means right there. And that's brutal. Thanks for ruining it. Yeah. Look,
I have it on the screen over here, so I'm like watching both.
Yeah.
But
dedication right there.
You can get into trouble really quick if you kind of fall on your face in those games, and if we're out by Memorial Day, like there could be a fire sale. There could be a fire sale. Although I don't know who's going to want to spend money for some of the players that we have. The only one that I would say is attractive to sell is Rhys Hoskins because I think he's got an expiring contract or he's due for free agency. And honestly, I think Alec Boehm is going to end up pushing him out the door. He's Hoskins is a Scott Boras guy, and Boras is like oil and water with most teams. I think the Phillies tolerate him at best, but Hoskins, if Boehm continues to hit and he shows that he's more comfortable playing first, and you're not going to sign Hoskins, friggin' trade him. Get something. Yeah. Get something.
Got to. You got to do something there. All right. I was hoping this game would be over by the time we got to this point in the show so we could say the Phillies won. But, Norwood's trying his best to blow a 6-run ninth-inning lead here. So, we'll pause on the Phillies talk to continue this conversation that is now almost 2 shows long. Are these coaches failing this city? So let's continue. What, did he give up another home run?
No, he just gave up a double down the line.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Phillies talk, okay? Pause that Phillies talk right there. And let's move to Doc Rivers. And again, I said
Yes, because I got
this team. I said it. I said it firmly that he's failing this team. And while you're saying you're kind of okay with the Joe Girardi hire, I was never really on board with the Doc Rivers hire. He was not my first choice. Now, I got a lot of people telling me that this is not on Doc Rivers. And I said it, I tweeted it out today, and I put it in the group chat, the conversation. I'm scared because now reports came out from Shams, came out today and said that Joel Embiid is out game 3, which would be a disaster. But then Doc Rivers went and made sure to give a reporter the information that he is out as of this moment for game 3 because based off the NBA protocols and the rules, that because he hasn't cleared concussion protocol, he has to be listed as out right now. But it doesn't mean he cannot clear the concussion protocols by Friday afternoon. There is actually a deadline that he has to clear it by. As long as he clears it at some point before the game, he could still technically play game 3. It's not trending in the right direction, but he could. I'm scared that Joel Embiid missing this playoff series and us getting knocked out gives Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey an excuse to run it all back. And that's not going to be a good thing because Doc Rivers is failing this team. And I know a lot of people disagreed with me on Facebook and on Twitter on that. But I'm firm in believing that he has failed this team and this city. Mark, where are you with Doc Rivers, whether he has failed or not?
Well, I think he's failed. I mean, he's coaching the same way that he's coached everywhere else. And he's made boneheaded decisions on lineups and substitutions and some head scratchers on there. And what I do like is what our media is doing is really kind of put the screws to him and really trying to hold him accountable for this stuff. And you can see he's starting to crack under pressure on how he's, snapping back with some answers. When coaches do that, I think they acknowledge that more or less that what they're doing is not working. And, I'll always, I don't see our media as being gotcha type guys unless you want to kind of, Howard Eskin maybe, but like the beat writers, when you have like a Keith Pompey kind of, pushing the issue, like he's a pretty respected writer and Doc snapping back and trying to give us history lessons on basketball and he doesn't get it. He's not a Philly guy. I'm big on, are you a Philly guy, not Philly guy? Doc is not a Philly guy. He is not a Philly guy, and he's not accepted in the city, and we're going to make life miserable for him unless he wins the title, and I don't see that happening. When you get to Morey, tell me this. Would we have beaten the Heat with Seth Curry and Andre Drummond in the lineup and Embiid on the bench? Because I think they would have.
With Embiid on the bench still in and still out.
Well, yeah, he's out. Do you think they win those 2 games with Drummond, the backup center, and Curry coming off the bench or starting versus what you've seen with Harden?
Well, I'm gonna answer your question with more questions and all.
Oh,
we don't get James Harden. We might not fully unlock Tyrese Maxey that we see that Tyrese Maxey right now. First and foremost, because the Tyrese Maxey we've seen since Harden's gotten here is a totally different Tyrese Maxey than he was before James Harden. And
Fair.
I think the James Harden trade unlocked a newfound confidence that Tyrese Maxey maybe he thought he had, but wasn't confident enough to, show. So I don't agree 100%. Maybe we go 1-1, maybe. But I don't know if we win both those games with Curry and Drummond. Now, Drummond would be starting, obviously. We may never bring in DeAndre Jordan, obviously. Maybe Daryl Morey, if he doesn't get, James Harden, make that trade, make some smaller trades at the deadline and improves the bench. So just straight up, just going back to our pre-trade deadline roster, I don't know if that's enough without Joel Embiid.
How many superstar players can you add, though? It's just when
not the superstar players that need added, though. You had in game 2 multiple times where Furkan Korkmaz was bringing the ball up the court as your de facto point guard running the offense. Twice. That's 2 times too many.
He should not be getting meaningful minutes in the playoffs.
But he is.
Because Harden
is ineffective.
Harden, yeah, I don't know what his deal is. I don't get it.
If you go back to the old pre-Harden roster, that means Furkan's playing minutes every game. Matisse Thybulle is ineffective right now. He's still playing those games. If Harden's not here, maybe even more importantly, you go back, it's still Paul Reed committing 5 fouls, George Niang in the last game, he had 6 fouls in 10 minutes. He's needed even more if James. I'm just trying to say that this team on paper is better since the trade, but going back to pre-trade, this team isn't any, the Heat are still a better team. The only way we win this series is with Joel Embiid, because that's how effective Joel Embiid is. That's how much of an MVP Joel Embiid is. It doesn't matter which roster you have around Joel Embiid, you're still struggling. I mean, you really think we win these games?
Phil, I think they take at least one. Because I think Seth Curry would show a little more heart than what is being shown out there by Harden. And Drummond was playing really well as a backup center, and he's been looking to kind of parlay this into another contract, hopefully as a starter, down the road. So I would expect him to be a hell of a lot better than what we've been rolling out at the center right now, without Embiid. 2020 hindsight, was it the right move? We had to get rid of Simmons. I mean, at this point, like what I have, I mean, we're at a wash, I think, completely. And, those 2 draft picks may come back to hurt us in the future. In the offseason, did I go after Beal and keep Harden? I mean, do they have room on the roster for both of those guys? I don't know. I saw a report. I saw a report that Harden supposedly approached management to work out a team-friendly long-term deal or something like that. Did you see that?
I saw reports. I don't know. I didn't really read into it too much, but yeah, he's doing that right now because he knows his value is dropping at this point.
Yeah, I would try to find a way to buy him out. I mean, we were find a trade partner or something like that. And listen, Embiid wanted Beal before he wanted Harden.
Correct.
And you see how the team is doing without Embiid right now. Make the man happy. Sign Beal.
Is this team winning? If all you do is take Harden off and put Beal in, and you still don't have Joel Embiid these games, are we winning these games with Bradley Beal?
Well, you have to add a viable backup to Embiid too.
Yeah. I'm just the way this team is right now. Take Harden off, put Beal in. Are we winning these games against the Heat?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Doc Rivers has failed this team, yes, but part of the problem is Joel being out affects everything that's going on. But also on top of all that, Daryl Morey has failed this team because Daryl Morey is the one that built this team.
All right, so here are the players that Morey has given a top 10 NBA 75 coach. A coach of that experience and magnitude and ability should be, all right, these are not the perfect players that I have, but here's what I'm going to do to try to maximize our chances to win. Do you feel like that Doc Rivers is maximizing the chances to win? I mean, beyond the playoffs, on all the games that he's played? Or does he say, I'm going to coach the way I coach, and I don't care who's on my team?
That's exactly what he does. 110%.
That's a stubborn man.
Yeah, he is a stubborn man. But if you look at it, just like we looked at Joe Girardi's track record, even though he won a World Series. Doc Rivers won one title in the NBA too as a coach, but he probably should have won more. But he's always got an excuse. You heard him a week or so ago. Well, did you see the team I had in Orlando? No wonder I lost with those guys. Oh, Chris Paul got hurt that one year. Oh, we went up against Detroit that year. That team was really good. He's always got excuses, Doc Rivers. I don't want excuses. I want answers. I'm going to pull up something here real quick on my screen here. I'm going to share a tweet. It was Facebook memories kick my ass all the time. And I love to share them, And this was a Facebook post I made 4 years ago when the Sixers season came to an end. All the Sixers haters coming out of the woodwork now. Yeah, they were a letdown this series, but Ben Simmons is 20. Embiid, not Embiid, Embiid, because, I didn't edit that spelling error right there. Embiid, played first fullest year, and Markel Fultz didn't see the light of day and is 19. We'll be back stronger next year. I don't want excuses anymore. 4 years ago, there was all this hope and all this promise and all this expectations, and we were energized for the future. Now I'm not energized. I'm depressed. I'm sad. I'm pissed because we're wasting Joel Embiid's prime with people like Doc Rivers, with people like Daryl Morey. I've said it before. Daryl Morey hasn't won jack crap as an executive in the NBA, other than executive of the year, because he traded for James Harden. But that was a 25-year-old James Harden or 26-year-old James Harden, not a 33-year-old James Harden. So I ask you, Doc Rivers, he's found the city. Daryl Morey is as well. And Daryl Morey might be the guy that I don't know what you make, how you title the process as a success or not. I already said the process was a success because the process was about acquiring star talent and giving us a chance at a title. The process wasn't about the title. It was just getting the talent to get there. But all the work for the process might come crashing down because Daryl Morey, all he's cared about since day one of being here in Philly is bringing James Harden in. And James Harden wasn't what he was back in Houston anymore. We knew that already. So are we making excuses for these guys? Or is it time to consider moving on from all of them? Blowing it all up.
I'm sorry. I'm just watching the Phillies blow this game right now.
Oh my God. Ignore it. 2 out.
Oh all right. No, again, let's get back to basketball. Yeah, I mean, I
7-5.
Embiid he's going to be, is he 28 or is he going to be 28? Like that window was wide open. Yeah, it's starting to close and close and close. Something like if they don't win, the process is a failure. And it's
He's 28 right now.
How old? He's 28.
Yeah, May was his birthday, so he's 28 right now.
I mean, he's going to be in the playoffs next year at 29. I mean, listen, his face has been broken twice. He's got the torn meniscus. He's got the bad feet. Back. Like, this is going to catch up to him really fast. If they don't get their hands around this soon, that yes, it'll be an absolute failure. And that would be a damn shame. And it's weird. I don't understand how they can't get the puzzles, the puzzle pieces to make this happen. I don't understand it.
Well, I always like to joke about looking back. If the league didn't step in and let Sam Hinkie complete the process, would we be in a different position right now?
Here's the deal. Was there ever an end game? Because he kept wheeling and dealing and acquiring picks. And honestly, the record really didn't take off until after Hinkie left or was forced out.
Right, but Hinkie was forced out before he could make the Ben Simmons pick, before he could make the Markel Fultz pick. He was still here wheeling and dealing. He tried with Jahlil Okafor. It didn't work out. He tried with the Nerlens Noel pick. It didn't work out with those guys. The point of what Sam Hinkie was doing was to acquire the draft capital to go out and trade for James Harden, to get one superstar player like Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid trade everything else to get 2 or 3 stars in here, build a super monster elite team, and then get there. I don't know. I don't know what the end game was there for that. Are they still blowing it?
Oh my God. They just tied the game.
Are you kidding me?
I'm lying, dude. It's just,
What?
it's just, he might get fired tonight. He might get fired tonight.
Oh,
They
don't
just
tell
tied it
me. Oh my God.
with 2 outs.
Oh my God.
Dude, my dad is probably beside himself. But we keep getting distracted because we're doing this tape morning show, and it's a shame. Maybe we could circle back to the Phillies and how they blown.
I really thought you were lying.
Dude, and Joe Girardi's just sitting there with his arms folded, looking down. There is like blank stares on the face of the Phillies. Like, this is a team that has no leadership, no guidance, no fire. No spark in the belly, nothing.
You know what you want at this point? I'm done talking about the Sixers for a minute here. We got to get back to the Phillies for a second. If it's as bad as you're saying, what the dugout looks like, this is where if Joe Girardi's not going to do it, this is where one of your players, Bryce Harper.
Dude, he just hit a double off the wall. They're going to take the lead. They're going to take the lead. They just took the lead. It's 8-7. Starling Marte just hit a double off the wall.
This is where Bryce Harper.
This is a fireable offense. This is a fireable offense.
A baseball bat smashes it in the dugout and tries to fire the team up if Joe Girardi's not doing it. Or this is, I kind of talked about this to kind of bring it back with the Sixers a little bit, where Joel Embiid needs to go to not Daryl Morey, to Josh Harris's office and be like, "Yo, something needs to change, or I want out." Bryce Harper, I said it the day we hired or signed Bryce Harper. If we don't put a winner out there, at some point, Bryce Harper is going to start grumbling and want out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Harper needs to not go to Dombrowski's office. He needs to go to John Middleton's office and be like, "Yo, you brought some of the people I want in here. I vouched for this city. I vouched for this team. I convinced JT. I convinced Nick Castellanos and these guys to come here. Yo, something needs to change. You get Joe Girardi out of here, or I want to trade and I want out of here." And that's what I would be. Tonight, right now, if I was Bryce Harper, I'd be walking up to that office right now and saying, "Yo, change now or else."
Something has to happen. And listen, I love Bryce Harper as a player. I love the fact that he likes the city. I'm curious if we talk about the team taking the personality of the manager. Do they take the personality of the star player? Does he really care? I'd like to think he does.
I do. I think he's a very fiery, passionate guy. He does care about this city, this team. I think, he's a Philly guy to the same extent that Chase Utley was. Chase Utley wasn't really a Philly guy. He's an LA guy. He loved being here. He's passionate about being a Philly most of his career. But as soon as his career was over, he headed back out to LA. You know what I mean? Harper.
Utley was a very, very competitive player.
And I think Bryce Harper too.
I think Chase was on another level, but
that's why Bryce Harper is still playing with the sore arm and not opting for surgery.
Oh, good. They got the third out.
Hold on. Who leads off in the ninth inning here?
I think
Quinn leads off. Awesome.
Oh, Quinn, Realmuto, and Hoskins.
So we said at the start of the show, what has to happen for Joe Girardi to get fired? Is this what has to happen? You blow a 7-1 lead in the ninth inning.
They had one run on 3 hits. Now they got 8 runs on 11 hits. In one, jeez. And that's another thing. Like
8 hits in the ninth inning there.
Like reading the room and putting the right pitcher in. Like I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't understand, like, why aren't things working out the way that they should be working out for both teams, for the Sixers and the Phillies? Like they have players. They have some of the best players in the league. But it's just not – it's a chemistry thing. Is it for the Phillies? Like we have all these players, but it's like oil and water. For the Sixers, I mean, we got these guys, but some of them mix, some of them don't. I don't know, man. It's extremely frustrating to be a Philadelphia sports fan right about now. It really is.
I thought that Howie Roseman would be the most liked person in this city at this point.
Well, let's
All the executives and coaches.
He just fired his entire scouting department.
I don't even know. I mean, I saw all of it. I didn't have time to dive into it this week at work, but I don't understand why he did that.
I don't get it. What did the city of Philadelphia do to deserve the franchises, the 4 franchises that we have, the 4 majors, and the ineptitude that we've seen more or less throughout my lifetime? I mean, throughout your lifetime. It's been more bad seasons than good, even the Flyers included. I mean, like the last half decade plus, they've been terrible, and they haven't made great decisions. The Phillies are one of the worst sports organizations of all time.
I always tell people that aren't sports fans, they're like, oh, so tell me something about, being a Philadelphia sports fan. I'm like, I'm a passionate Phillies fan more than anything. But the Phillies are the first organization in professional sports history around the world to lose 10,000 games. No other organization in any sport, period, around the world ever did that before. I don't think anybody else is even close. But yet, we still come on here, and we still talk about it all the time. We still go spend our hard-earned money. And honestly, what's ever changed? We won 1 Super Bowl.
That's 5 years old now, Phil.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the time limit has passed for us to celebrate.
I'm 41 years old. We've won 2 World Series. We won a World Series. Actually, I wasn't born for the 80 World Series. I was like 2 months away from being born at that point. Okay? So they've won 2 World Series in the last 41 years. How many NBA titles have they won in the last 40-plus years? One. How many Stanley Cups have they won in the last 41 years?
0.
Okay. The Philadelphia Union tried to win a title last year, but COVID screwed that all up.
Damn straight.
I mean, I just – this city deserves better. The fans deserve better. I deserve better, damn it. I want better.
Listen, when they do win, though, I'll tell you that the city is so much better, and it is a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
It's weird. Like I'm picture if you lived in Boston or New York, and all the championships that you would see.
It must get boring being in those cities.
Yeah, does it get boring and you check out?
No.
I would like more than one per generation. I would like maybe like every 3 years to have a championship, but
rotate sports. Roman Quinn got out, I see.
Okay. Yeah, he just struck out. That's great.
Good, yeah.
How he's even on the team, I don't even know, man.
I literally, no lie, it really does feel like Roman Quinn's been a Philly for 10, 12 years now.
Who's doing the DSM postgame show?
I have no idea. Are they doing a DSM? Well, Parcero always does one. Dude, it's bad. It's bad, man. This is the DSM postgame show. It's just airing Friday morning right now.
Oh.
And I think we've got the title for the show. As we get to the 50-minute markets, we deserve better as Philadelphia fans.
We do, man.
Do we not?
This is a bad loss. This is writing
them off already. Come on.
The owner calls the GM, the manager, and the star player in the office and says, "Excuse my language, Phil. What the fuck? What are you guys going to do to fix this? Or do I need to send all of you guys out?" Yeah. This is not okay. It's not. It shouldn't have been like this. They should be getting progressively better, and they've just flatlined it the last 3 seasons or so.
The Phillies and the Sixers alike right now, and I guess we could probably try to find some correlation with the Flyers and the Union had an excuse. COVID was their excuse. There's always an excuse. The Sixers' excuse will be Joel Embiid got hurt. But Joel Embiid should never have gotten hurt because he shouldn't have been in the game at the point where he got hurt. The league shouldn't have let him get hurt because they should have never let Patrick Siakam get away with all the bad play.
Agreed.
The Phillies have an excuse. Bryce Harper's got a bad arm. He can't play the field. Nick Castellanos got hurt. Mickey Moniak was going to be our starting center fielder day one. He got hurt. All your other starters weren't playing that last preseason game. So why was Mickey Moniak then? there's always an excuse with ownership or the coaching staffs or the organization, the managers or the general managers or whatever, the presidents of these teams. We deserve better. We don't deserve excuses. We deserve results.
You find I'm so frustrated right now, Phil. The amount of investment fans have for our four major sports and versus what they give back to us is not equal. No. And when does like people say enough's enough? And honestly, I've never really walked away from these teams to the point where I won't go anymore. If somebody called me tomorrow and the Flyers were playing tomorrow and say, hey, do you want to go to a Flyers game with me? Even though I haven't really been following them all year, yeah, let's go. Let's have a good time. Let's catch up on the Flyers. You want to go to the Phillies game? Yeah. Hey, come over Sunday and watch the 3-13 Eagles play football. We'll have some hot dogs and beer and shit like that. Yeah, absolutely. Because the sports a lot of times help people congregate together and helps build relationships and kind of brings all the people together. But lately it hasn't been fun.
Philadelphia is a blue-collar, hardworking city, even going out into the 5 surrounding counties. You got some certain areas that got the little rich hoity-toity people in them and stuff like that. But it's hardworking. People like me and you, we spend our money. We invest our time, our money, our energy, our emotion, and we don't get the payoff, the results. But yet, someone says, well, don't spend your money on the team or cancel your season tickets. Well, there's 60,000 people waiting in line for Eagles season ticket trade. Mm-hmm. They're not hurting. The TV deal that NBC Sports Philadelphia gave the Phillies a few years ago. It's $2.5 billion or whatever it was. So if they only sell 20,000 tickets a game, are the Phillies really hurting?
Nope.
No. You're still buying jerseys. You're still buying hats. You're still buying T-shirts. You go to a game, you spend $50 for parking. If you go to a game, the Flyers, till this year, didn't matter how bad the Flyers were, they still sold out every game all the time. I don't know how to, I'm not trying to tell people to not go to games or not spend your money or not do it. But we need better. We deserve better. And I don't know what even the path is to get better. Not changing a coach, changing this or that, but I mean more consistent. I want to be like Boston. I want to be like the Yankees during their stretches. I want to be like the Dallas Cowboys. I know it sounds right, but how awesome and dominant they were for a stretch. We deserve that, but we don't get it.
We do deserve it, and we don't get it. And apathy is professional sports' worst nightmare and biggest enemy. And honestly, you have apathy for the Flyers. You have apathy for the Phillies. And if the Sixers don't get their shit together, you'll have some people starting to check out on them as well. Probably post Embiid, but you're at a point where you can't figure it out. Like for the Sixers, what is it for Embiid to go into, like you said, into Josh Harris's office and trade me? That would be the worst nightmare for that team or for that team's fans. Yep. It's weird. Like all these sports teams have a lot of things going on, and the Eagles still reign supreme. They still reign. They had a great draft. They had a surprising season this year. There's a lot of expectations that are coming up for next season. And, as the dust settles, the Eagles continue to stand at the top of the hill. Yeah. And people are going to kind of divert their attention there and going to give them their full support. And honestly, these other teams, boy, I wish like they could get their.
I'm going through Twitter right now.
I'm afraid to look at Twitter.
So somebody just posted that Michael Barkan just said on Post Game Live, this is, in his opinion, one of the top 5 losses in Phillies history. I mean, it might be a little stretch, but yeah, I'm all the way out on the 2022 Phillies already. The level of anger of the Phillies right now is indescribable. The Phillies need to fire Girardi, send Hoskins down. Dude, I mean, Phillies Twitter.
Hoskins struck out on 3 pitches, and I'm watching post game on my phone right now, but it's muted. And both Ben Davis and Ricky Batalco, or you could see like the anger in their face, and they're talking with their hands and they're going like this. Oh my God! But Batalco must be going on a huge rant. He's going nuts. But he's right though. Like how do you? This is not. This season a problem. This has been going on.
Jack Fritz says this is worse than the 0-2 NFC Championship game.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I was at that game and I got physically ill. I mean, this is bad. This is really bad. This is like if you were a.
Oh, this one's really bad. Hold on. All right, here. I'm going to share this picture right here. I'm going to put this up on the screen for everybody to see. This is how bad it was. Read that stat right there. Do you see what that stat's at? Can you read that? I don't know. I know your eyes.
Oh my God.
0 and 330.
Make it 1
in the 9th inning. 0 and 330.
That's 2 seasons worth of games.
2 seasons.
2 seasons worth of games.
Actually, more than 2 seasons. That'd be 324. And that's 330. So more than 2 seasons worth of games. Dude, this picture needs to be printed out, put on John Middleton's desk, and that's it. And just walk away. That's bad. That's really bad. Man, this is not.
They got Kruk on it. He's going like this, and he's going like this. Dude, there's a lot of angry people, man.
On a side note, did anybody see my tweet? And then somebody shared the video of it. Tom McCarthy's little slip of the tongue last night.
No, I missed it. What did he say?
He said, "I need," or so far in this, it was coming out of the 3rd inning or going to the 3rd inning. He's like, so far through 3 innings, 3. He was trying to say 3 hits, but he said 3 tits. And I'm like, I think I heard that. I look at my wife, Melissa. I'm like, yo, did you hear that? She's like, I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, so I put it on Twitter, and within 2 minutes, someone had a DVR recorded. They're like, yep, he said it. So it's on my Twitter profile somewhere on my page. But yes, there is audio, and you hear Kruk up, like choke when he hears him say it and everything.
Oh, Kruk is the best.
Kruk is on fire this season with the attitude,
really good,
and stuff like that. He's been really good this year. Look, we deserve better.
We do.
So bad. So much better.
Why does the country hate Philadelphia? And I think it's beyond our sports. I think sports do define our city a bit, but why does the rest of the country hate us? I think they really look down on our region as not worthy, not on the same level as a New York or LA or Chicago or DC. I always felt as somebody who lives in Philadelphia and has spent their entire life in this area that we don't get the respect that we deserve as this beyond our sports. It really hurts me because it's a fantastic area to live in. There are regardless what you may see on the news, it's a great area to live in. There's some really, really great people that live here. There are some really good schools. There are some really good philanthropists. Like there are people that do great things that live in Philadelphia, and we continue to be shit on, and we can't have good sports franchises, and shit happens in the city that gives us a black eye. And it really, really bothers me because I'm a very proud Philadelphian and I'm proud where I come from. And I just don't feel like the rest of the country sees it the same way as we do. And it upsets me at times. It really does.
Yeah. So let's wrap this show up here with one final question here. This is the Friday morning show. We're recording Thursday night here. We've kind of done like a live kind of telecast of the Phillies game as we're doing this. So tomorrow morning when you guys are all watching this, yeah, exactly. Monday morning, you'll be back with me. Maybe Jason.
I will.
I did get Jason's schedule. He's on Monday with us as well. Overreaction Monday on Monday. Are we talking about so Friday and then the Sixers play again on Sunday, I think? It's game 4 on Sunday.
I'm not sure what the schedule is. The NBA schedule's so weird. They stretch those games out.
Let's just leave it at this. If game 4 happens on Sunday for the Sixers and they lose and they get swept out of that series, and if the Phillies even go 1-3, which I don't know why you'd think they'd go 1-3 against the Mets this weekend. Are we talking on Monday about any coaches that have been fired in Philadelphia on Monday morning?
We might.
We damn straight might be talking about that.
I'm going to say this. No matter what happens this season with the Sixers, Doc Rivers will not be our coach next season. He's going to walk away, retire, or go to another team. I think he's outstayed his welcome. He's not coming back. And then the Phillies, oh boy. But like you said, if they have some really big games against really good teams coming up, and this homestand has not started out very well. 0-3, two losses by one of the worst, if not the worst, teams in the league. And the Mets with this huge comeback here for Thursday night.
I saw stat that Norwood, James Norwood, who pitched the ninth and gave up most of those runs there, has already faced the Mets multiple times this year. The last time he faced the Mets, he gave up 3 runs with only getting 1 out in the inning. So what would Joe Girardi want to throw the same guy out there? A guy that's already being seen well by – it makes no sense whatsoever.
Wasted outing by Nola, too, tonight. He pitched a gem.
Zach Wheeler's outing last night, and we wasted Aaron Nola's outing tonight. It's bad. We deserve better in Philadelphia. That is the name of this show here. I'm getting text messages now. Jason's texting me. He must have woken up just in time to see the Phillies collapse.
Ask him if he wants to come on real quick before we go.
I'm done. We're wrapping this up. I got a 5:30 alarm set for me.
Oh, jeez.
Marc, thanks for coming on with me tonight, even though it wasn't a more positive show. We're going to have to find a way to do positive shows. We really are. But I just don't know what to be positive about.
We're Negadelphia.
We are.
DSM Media is negative media for Philly. We have nothing good to say.
We don't, and it's a shame. I had a really positive, good feeling on Thursday's show. Yeah, I talked negative, but I felt good. Now I just feel pissed and depressed, and I'm ready to go crack like 6 more beers open and everything. But, yeah, not good. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a great week here on Trending in the AM. Great episodes every day. We appreciate everybody's support all the time. Shout out again to Marc here, Marc Muscatelli, Marc with a C, and Jason Voorhees. Always having my back all week long on every show. Greatly appreciate my boys here. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Overreaction Monday. Maybe we'll be talking about a coach getting fired. Maybe not. I hope so, but probably not. We'll be back next week. We'll have lots to talk about, as always. Everybody have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Shout out to all the moms. Everybody have a great weekend. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say go Birds. I don't want to say ring the bell.
Sixers and 5.
No, I don't have any. Well, that's impossible.
Smash the bell.
I don't know. Burn it down.